Namaskar friends. Addressing a closed-door meeting of the Pakistan diaspora in Tampa, Florida on 11th August 2025, Pak Army Chief Asim Munir had said, and I quote, "We'll start from India's east, where they have located their most valuable resources, and then move westwards." Unquote. This threat mirrors earlier remarks by Pakistan's DG ISPR or military spokesman to The Economist. In response to a question about India threatening further military action if there was a terror strike, the DG ISPR asserted that Pakistan would begin by striking deeper within India. And I quote, "We'll start from the east. They also need to understand that they can be hit everywhere." Unquote. I talked about Asim Munir's speech in episode 21. Now, Pakistan has no land border with India in the east. So what Munir and the DG ISPR were implying was to use the territory of Bangladesh for their nefarious designs against India. I am Tilak Divesha, and you are watching The Great Game Reloaded. One of the things both could be referring to is the Siliguri corridor, India's so-called chicken neck, and it's suddenly surrounded by shadows from Dhaka, Islamabad and Beijing. Let's look at this closely. Pakistan using Bangladesh territory? Two countries born from the same land, but torn apart in 1971 after one of the bloodiest civil wars in South Asian history. For decades, they barely spoke to each other. Now, they're calling each other brotherly nations. Their armies are shaking hands, their navies are sailing together, their spy chiefs are visiting each other. And they are doing all this while India, their neighbor, watches from just 22 kilometers away at its most vulnerable point. Let's break this down. In 1971, the then East Pakistan violently broke away from West Pakistan. The bitter legacy of the breakup bred 2 generations of mistrust. And yet, here we are in 2025, watching their generals shake hands. Why? How did this turnaround come about? What's in it for them? And what does it mean for India, especially for the most vulnerable 22 kilometers of Indian territory? The Siliguri corridor. Our story begins last year with the July-August mass uprising, a movement that started in the lecture halls and streets and ended with the toppling of Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule. The slogans are still fresh on the walls. It was called, quote-unquote, the Second Liberation, a revolt that began over job quotas and ended with the fall of Hasina. More than 1,400 people were reportedly killed in the upheaval, most of them students. Hasina was India's closest friend in Dhaka, a leader who kept Pakistan at arm's length, who shut down the ISI's network in Bangladesh. Hasina was replaced with Muhammad Yunus, heading an interim government backed by the military. According to him, quote, "We will deliver a peaceful, fair and transparent election to return power to the people," unquote. But elections have been delayed. Now they are due in February 2026. Reforms are slow and political alliances are fracturing. The once united Student Front now competes with established parties like the BNP and a resurgent Jamaat-e-Islami. Bangladesh's economy, particularly its garment industry, is the lifeblood of the nation. Recently, Dhaka scored a rare diplomatic win in Washington. After tense negotiations, the US cut tariffs on Bangladeshi goods from 35 to 20%, a crucial edge over regional competitors. In exchange, Dhaka pledged major purchases from American suppliers, 25 Boeing aircraft, millions of tons of wheat, and expanded cotton imports. Bangladesh's relations with India are built on history. New Delhi backed its 1971 independence. For decades, India has been Bangladesh's closest ally. But relations are cooling, and the past year has tested those ties. Pakistan welcomed the end of Hasina's rule, hoping for a reset free of the war crimes rhetoric that strained ties. 54 years after a bitter war tore them apart, Bangladesh and Pakistan are talking again. Not just talking, but trading, training, and exchanging visits at the highest levels. The political earthquake in Dhaka last year has set the stage for one of South Asia's most unexpected realignments. Within 6 months, Yunus met Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif twice. His foreign policy? Pakistan again. Officially, it's all about economics. Bilateral trade is up 27% in 4 months. Visa restrictions? Gone. Pakistan has waived security clearances for Bangladeshi travels. A joint business council is on the anvil. Islamabad is offering 300 scholarships to Bangladeshi students. Cultural exchanges have flourished, with the Pakistani Qawwali singer Rahat Fateh Ali Khan performing twice in Dhaka. 2 cargo ships carrying commodities arrived at Chittagong port, the first such arrivals since the 1971 war. Sounds harmless enough, right? Except that's not where the real action is. Let's look at the defense track. Since January 2025, Bangladesh's top military leaders have made multiple trips to Pakistan. Lieutenant General Kamrul Hassan, Principal Staff Officer, Armed Forces Division, met not just Pakistan Army Chief, but also its Air Force and Navy chiefs. Bangladesh Navy Chief Admiral Nazmul Hasan visited Pakistan's Army headquarters in Rawalpindi. In February, Bangladesh sent a warship, BNS Samudra to Pakistan's Aman 25 naval exercise in the Arabian Sea. China was there too, with a very large delegation. Dhaka is reportedly interested in buying JF-17 Thunder jets, jointly built by China and Pakistan under its Forces Goal 2030 modernization plan. A small number of Bangladeshi officers are again attending courses in Pakistan's Staff College at Quetta and National Defence University in Islamabad, programs that were common earlier. In return, Pakistani mid-career officers have joined Bangladesh's Command and Staff program in Mirpur. Perhaps the most sensitive development, Pakistan's ISI is back in Dhaka. Major General Shahid Amir Afsar, the Director General Analysis of the ISI, visited Bangladesh in January 2025, the first such trip in almost 20 years. The delegation also secretly visited Rangpur division in northern Bangladesh, which is located near the strategic Siliguri corridor. Why is this significant? Official circles in New Delhi have memories of the ISI's role in using Bangladeshi soil to back militant groups in India's northeastern states in the 1990s and the 2000s. Under Sheikh Hasina, the ISI's operations in Bangladesh were dismantled. She saw them as a threat to India and to her own government. Now, with this visit, the liaison is restored. Officially, it's counter-terrorism cooperation. Unofficially, it could be about rebuilding networks that have historically targeted India's northeast. While no formal defence pact has been signed, the ouster of Hasina has changed the tone. The Yunus-led interim government has removed some restrictions on security contacts. Bangladesh is pitching these as exchanges, standard professional interaction between armed forces. They do not alter Bangladesh's strategic independence. Then there is another player in this story, China. It is the biggest arms supplier to both Pakistan and Bangladesh. In fact, 72% of Bangladesh's military imports and more than 80% of Pakistan's come from Beijing. And Beijing is encouraging this partnership. China's influence is also evident in the increasing military interactions between Bangladesh and Pakistan, with Beijing reportedly advocating stronger ties between the two nations. China is also assisting in reviving a World War II-era airbase in Lal Munir Hat, Bangladesh, just 135 kilometers from the Siliguri corridor. Originally built by the British in 1931, Lal Munir Hat served as a forward base for Allied forces in Southeast Asia during World War II. After partition, Pakistan briefly reopened it in 1958 for civilian use. Since then, it has been largely abandoned despite its sprawling 1,166 acres and facilities, including a 4-kilometer runway and large tarmac. The official line? It is for civilian aviation. The strategic reality? It could be dual use, meaning Chinese and Pakistani eyes on India's most vulnerable corridor. The Siliguri corridor is just 22 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. To the west, Nepal; to the east, Bangladesh; to the north, Bhutan and China. It is India's only land link to its northeastern states. In the unlikely event of it being blocked, the northeast is cut off from the mainland. A Pakistani or Pak-China footprint near the chicken's neck could seriously impact India's entire security calculus. But it is not only the bilateral or trilateral relations that could pose a threat. There is something more insidious going on. In his Independence Day speech, without referring to any country, Prime Minister Modi specifically referred to demographic invasion. Alerting the country about a concern and a challenge, he warned that under a deliberate conspiracy, the demography of the country is being changed. Seeds of a new crisis are being sown. These infiltrators are taking away the jobs of our youth. They are targeting our daughters and sisters. They are misleading innocent tribals and grabbing their lands. Without mincing words, he underlined that it creates a threat to national security. And PM asserted that this will not be tolerated. He announced from the ramparts of the Red Fort that India has decided to launch a high-power demographic mission. This mission will work in a planned and determined way within a fixed time frame to address this grave crisis looming over India.
हमने एक हाई पावर्ड डेमोग्राफी मिशन शुरू करने का निर्णय किया है। ये मिशन, इस मिशन के द्वारा ये जो भीषण संकट नजर आ रहा है, भारत पे मंडरा रहा है जो संकट है, उसको निपटाने के लिए तय समय में सुविचारित सुनिश्चित रूप से अपने कार्य को करेगा। उस दिशा में हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
New Delhi's message is clear. The chicken's neck is a major red line, as is infiltration to change the demography of the Northeast. Bangladesh is walking a fine line. It's trying to balance India, Pakistan, China and the US, all while facing political unrest at home. If Dhaka tilts too far towards Islamabad and Beijing, it risks alienating India, its largest trading partner, its biggest neighbor, and a key market for its exports. For Pakistan, Bangladesh is a way to encircle India, to attack India from the east. For Bangladesh, Pakistan is a hedge against over-dependence on India. And for China, it is one more way to keep New Delhi distracted. The Bangladesh interim government's emerging foreign policy reflects a conscious departure from decades of strategic regional balancing. Its growing military alignment with Pakistan, alongside increasing divergence from India, signals a potential shift with far-reaching implications from South Asian security, especially amid deepening India-Pakistan hostilities. This shift has sparked mixed reactions, as the bitter memory of the 1971 Liberation War, the genocide committed by the then West Pakistan against the East Pakistan, and Pakistan's refusal to formally apologize for the 1971 war atrocities lingers. These historical memories may limit just how warm this relationship can get. Moreover, the interim government has no electoral mandate. Hence, questions are being raised in Bangladesh about the extent to which an interim government can legally pursue such strategic shifts. By design, an interim or caretaker government with limited authority is primarily entrusted with the responsibility of overseeing elections and ensuring a smooth transition to an elected administration. These limitations would not, however, prevent Pakistan from trying to meddle in Bangladesh to target India, quote unquote, from the east. Let me end with an anecdote. Ayub Khan did not speak Bengali. During his visits to East Pakistan, he would address public rallies either in Urdu or English using an interpreter for translation into Bengali. On one memorable occasion in early March 1967, Ayub was addressing a large public rally in Mymensingh. The governor of East Pakistan, Momin Khan, decided that he would translate the president's speech. Ayub's speech lasted almost an hour, during which the governor dozed off and even started snoring. After Ayub completed his speech, the governor was woken up. His secretary gave him some notes that he had taken of Ayub's speech. Instead of interpreting Ayub's 1 hour-long speech, Momin Khan spoke for nearly 2 hours, during which he even sang verses from Tagore, Ghalib and Iqbal, though Ayub had done no such thing. Later, a mystified Ayub questioned the governor on his 2 hour-long translation. The governor laughed and gave Ayub some sound political wisdom. He said, it did not matter what either of them said. What really mattered was what the public wanted to hear. The village folk didn't come from far-off places to hear their lectures. They came for entertainment, for distraction from their drab lives. So it was entertainment that he gave them. As a result, the public sang when he sang and they laughed when he laughed. Ayub Khan was greatly amused with this explanation of the governor. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and comment. See you again soon with another topic and another anecdote. Until then, I am Tilak Divesha. Namaskar and Jai Hind.